Hello everyone, I am Urvashi Soneji, your educator for today. And before I start with my topic today, I'd like to thank Dr. Piyush Jain sir for giving us this platform. Uh, so let's start. My today's topic is development of the nervous system. Before we know how the nervous system develops, we'll first see what is nervous system. Nervous system is a complex organ system which is found in animals that help in coordinating and managing the bodily functions by collecting the information from the environment, comparing this collected information with the stored information, storing the new information, and providing a suitable motor response to the same. So, nervous system broadly is divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is basically found on the axial part of your body, the centermost part, and peripheral nervous system goes towards the limbs. So the first we'll see about the central nervous system. It is divided into the brain part of the central nervous system and the spinal cord part of the central nervous system. The brain is usually covered in your cranial cavity and the spinal cord will be covered by your vertebral bodies. The brain is further divided into forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, also known as prosencephalon, the forebrain, mesencephalon, the midbrain, and rhombencephalon, the hindbrain. Forebrain is further divided into telencephalon and diencephalon. We'll see further what all these are consisted of once we see the development of the brain. Okay, what are the functions basically? The functions of central nervous system. क्या करने में help करता है ये? So it basically receives the information from the peripheral nervous system, that is via the sensory input. It will compare the already stored information in your brain, and if the information is new, it will store the new information and then it will decide on the basis of previous experiences and new experience that what should be the motor response, and it will send back the signal to the peripheral nervous system so that the motor part of the peripheral nervous system can bring about the decided response. So let's see what does peripheral nervous system consist of. It is primarily divided as sensory nervous system and motor nervous system. So sensory nervous system will consist of special senses and general senses. Special senses are the ones which has only one organ to detect the particular sense. For example, vision, only eyes can see, no other part of the body can see. Like olfaction, only nose can smell, as in the epithelial tissue of the nose determines that, but only nose can smell. No other part of the body can bring about the function of olfaction. The same way taste, hearing, and sense of position, that is governed by your vestibular system. Okay. The same way general sensory, the general senses will be those which are determined by the various parts in the body. For example, it can be like hand, whatever sense the hand is feeling, like whatever type of sense the hand is feeling. Same way your feet can also determine touch, pain, temperature, vibration, proprioception, the body part position, etc. So in general, the general senses are divided into somatic senses and visceral senses. Somatic senses are those which are determined by the superficial part of your body, and visceral are those which are determined by your or recognized by your internal organs. For example, abdominal movements, distension, cramps, and dull pain, like when you get stomachache. Okay, and the motor part of peripheral nervous system is divided into voluntary and involuntary motor responses. Voluntary motor responses are somatic motor responses, and involuntary motor responses are mostly like your autonomic nervous system, that is sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, Their function is basically to take the information from periphery to the center, and to take the information or the central decision to the periphery. So if we see, the movement of information will be like this. From sensory, it will go to peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system will send it to your central nervous system, and your central nervous system will process the information, it will decide, and then it will send to the motor nervous system. Okay, so where does it all start? From where does the development of central nervous system start? It's right after the fertilization process. Okay, so once we know ovulation has taken place, the ovum that is fixed in its second meiotic phase will be present in the ampullary isthmic junction, and in case the sperm is coming there, the sperm, when it reaches the ovum, it is able to pierce through it. The meiotic division will complete with the release of second polar body, and we know the process of fertilization begins. Once the fertilization is done, there is formation of a zygote. Okay, we'll start from complete basic, ekdam niche se. After the zygote is formed, there are stages of cleavage. So there will be first cleavage, which will divide the cell, divide the zygote into two cell stage. Okay, this two cell stage is the first cleavage. After first cleavage, with intact zona pellucida. We can see this intact zona pellucida. Yes. After that, there will be one more cleavage. All these are mitotic division, we know. One more cleavage, which gives rise to 4 cell stage. After that, one more cleavage will give rise to 8 cell stage. After this entire part, this is known as blastula stage. After blastula, there is formation of morula at 8 to 12 cell stage. So this morula, after it keeps dividing like 8 to 16, 32, what happens after that? After that, what happens are some cells of this common cellular ball will start differentiating and forming a clump. It will form a clump. This सब aggregate होके छोटा सा clump बना देंगे. So you can see here, this is the early blastocyst formation. This formation, this differentiation, when it starts, the morula converts into a blastocyst. Okay, so this differentiation will lead to formation of a inner cell mass. ठीक है, अंदर का जो सब सेल था वो एकदम क्लम्प होके एक जगह पे ज्वाइन हो गया है. ठीक है, they make a pole. So this is inner cell mass, and the outer cell will keep proliferating. These outer cells are known as trophoblastic cells, and the inner cell mass will form embryoblastic cells. Okay, so now you have inner cell mass and outer cell mass. Outer cell mass is the boundary, inner cell mass is the clumped together cells which are attached to one part of the pole. Okay, so let's see what happens. This is by day 4 or 5. It has already reached here. Next 5 days, now by day 11, 14, what happens is the blastocyst is complete and mature. It is ready to attach to the uterine wall. Okay, what happens is the trophoblastic outer layer will form a special villi-like projections, okay, which will attach to the lining of the uterus. These are known as sensiotrophoblast, and the ones on the other side are known as cytotrophoblast. Okay, and this inner cell mass is embryoblastic cells which will give rise to the germ layers. Okay, let's see what happens next. So these inner cell mass have proliferated and given rise to this kind of structure by day, it's not seen. Yeah, it is by day 14, by 2 weeks, 11 to 14. Okay, what happens is, you can see here this big blue layer. Yes, this is, we know, they will only form a clump of 2 layers first. we know that they'll form a clump of two layers. So they'll have epiblast and a hypoblastic layer. So what happens is near the epiblastic layer they'll have amnion sac, and near the hypoblastic layer, the hypoblast, hypo means niche, down, so hypoblastic layer will have a yolk sac. Together this will form a bilaminar embryonic disc. So the one near the amniotic sac cavity is known as epiblast. The one near the yolk sac cavity is known as hypoblast. Hypoblast is niche and epiblast is upar, as the name suggests. Okay. So once this is formed, let's see what happens next. On the epiblast, if you see from the superior part, मतलब ऊपर से देख रहे view अभी, so this is the superior view which will show a precaudal plate formation. This is a kind of depression or a notch which will form the future mouth. Okay, future mouth of the baby. So what happens is there is a formation of precaudal depression or plate and a formation of primitive node. You can see this. Yeah, so there's another hole that is created which is primitive node, a primitive pit, and a primitive streak. It will increase, elongate to form a primitive streak. This primitive streak and node, what happens is they will give rise to formation of new cells. What happens is there is rapid growth of cells, but in a certain way, in a certain pattern. What happens is all the cells will move in this direction towards the primitive pit and primitive streak. Okay, so there is a rapid movement of cells on this part. They will go under that pit, that groove, like here you can see, if you see a lateral section, they will move, all these cells will move under the groove and they will form a notochord like structure. I'm so sorry. And they will form a notochord like structure. You can see here, this notochord like structure is formed towards the mouth. Okay, it's formed towards the mouth. So this is how the notochord is formed. The cells from the primitive node will come below the primitive node, the epiblastic layer, and it will form a notochord. So now we know that the epiblastic layer is the ectoderm. The epiblastic layer, this was the epiblastic layer, it will form the ectoderm. The notochord which was formed below the epiblastic layer will be surrounded by mesoderm, and the hypoblastic layer is the endoderm. Now there is a special function of this notochord. What this notochord will do, it will secrete excess amount of growth hormones and like growth chemicals in short. What it will lead to is thickening of the area of the ectoderm above it. Okay, thickening of the area of the ectoderm above it. So this thickening will lead to formation of a neural plate. Okay, this thickening will lead to formation of a neural plate. This neural plate, when it is growing, what happens is the corners of this neural plate will start growing very rapidly. If you see it like this, the corners are growing very rapidly. So the corners come up, they raise like this, they raise like. So once the corner raise, the middle part will go down, it will sink, forming a neural groove. This which is further sinks, and the corners, so if you take your hand like this and cross it like this, the thumbs if the thumbs are left out, they at the edges it forms the neural crest. Okay, so the neural crest is left like that, and the two neural fold is joined on the above. So what happens is this neural plate will detach from the ectodermal layer and come below above the notochord. Okay, so this notochord, this is the neural tube formation and remnant neural crest cell. Again, neural crest cells are formed from the ectoderm only, but they are remain outside. Okay, so what happens to notochord later? The remnant of this notochord is it will form the nucleus pulposus surrounded by annulus fibrosus in our between our spinal bodies, we all know, vertebral bodies, sorry. So what are the derivatives of this notochord? Once the notochord is formed, it will fuse, it will go anterior and posterior, it will fuse on both the sides. The anterior pore fuses at around 25th to 28th day. Both anterior and posterior cord, the posterior pore will fuse by 28th day. If the fusion does not take place, it will lead to deformities like anencephaly or spina bifida, as we say, and the different categories of spina bifida depending upon what level of problem is there. So this happens around 28 days. So we know by this time the mother does not even know that she is pregnant. Okay, so that is why they say that folic acid is very much important for the females who are in the reproductive age, because by 28 days the female won't, she has just started missing her periods and she doesn't know that she is pregnant. And deficiency of folic acid, researchers have shown that it directly leads to neural tube defects. So let's see the derivatives of neural tube. The neural tube will primarily form three vesicles. The three vesicles that are formed are forebrain, also known as prosencephalon, midbrain mesencephalon, and hindbrain rhombencephalon. Okay, so these three primary vesicles will further divide into 5 secondary vesicles, out of which prosencephalon will divide into telencephalon. This too big, you can see telencephalon, yes, and then a small central part which is known as diencephalon. Then the midbrain will, or the mesencephalon will remain the same way, unchanged, and then the rhombencephalon will divide further into metencephalon and myelencephalon. Telencephalon grows very rapidly, very fast. It covers the entire part of the brain, forming the major cerebral lobes, frontal lobe, parietal, temporal, and occipital. Everything is formed by telencephalon. The hippocampus, all the lobes are formed by telencephalon. The diencephalon will give rise to hypothalamus, thalamus, epithalamus, and the major part of your optical tract, retina, and retinal eyeball. Okay. Then mesencephalon will give rise to midbrain. Metencephalon will anteriorly it will form pons, and posteriorly two pouches which forms the cerebellum. And myelencephalon will give rise to medulla, the lowermost part before the spinal cord starts, and the entire thing continues as the spinal cord. Okay, now how does this spinal cord development take place? This notochord will give rise, they have neuroblastic cells which will lead to rapid formation of neural tissue. Okay, so they are formed two alar plates as you can see here on the dorsal side, and two basal plates. Now alar for ears, कान, so we know that ऊपर वाला part कान के लिए है. कान का सबसे important part क्या होता है? Hearing, senses. Okay, so you don't need to ratify that हाँ dorsal side है, sensory है, anterior. You can make a small mnemonics like ऊपर वाला part है, कान है, तो sensory, dorsal roots. The alar plate will give rise to dorsal root and connections which will form the sensory ganglia and sensory nucleus. And basal plate will give rise to your motor. Basal down, legs, so नीचे की तरफ legs होते हैं, which is basically the motor part. So this is the basal plate which will give rise to anterior horn, which has the motor nuclei. Okay, so basically the posterior horn, the small, there is a lateral horn, okay, and anterior horn, it will together give rise to your gray matter, and all the tracts will be on the outside forming the white matter. So we knew that thode se cells, some of the cells were left out. Yes, so those were neural crest cells. These neural crest cells are they go throughout the body. They will form many structures, cranial as well as truncal structures. Cranial, they will give rise to some skull bones, cartilages and bones inside the cranial cavity, and also the connective tissue like the glial cells and astrocytes, all the connective cells. And then in the trunk, all these crest cells, as we know, they are below the ectoderm, below the skin. It will run throughout below the skin, giving rise to melanocytes. Okay, all the melanocytes in the body are derived from the remnants of notochord from the ectoderm. It will also give rise to dorsal root ganglia, as we saw here. You always have small collection of axons outside the central nervous system forming DRGs. These are also derived from the neural crest cells. So that's it for the development of your central nervous system, and for the remaining lectures we'll see the further basics of neuroanatomy. This is very important for you all to know. This is the basic, how did the nervous system develop. We all learn for our MCQs that yes, nervous system is developed from the ectoderm, it derived from the ectoderm. Do we know how and why?